Hi everyone, I'm Todd. I'm the program manager for the new digital marketing certificates. We'll get underway in about a minute or so, but if I can ask a favor of just somebody, one person would be fine, just let me know you can hear and see me okay. You can see my slides. This should be like a slide of York and a person walking. It says online program orientation. If maybe somebody in the questions box can just put yes, I can hear and see you, that'd be fantastic. Thanks, Tanya. Thanks, Melanie. Thanks, Connor. Perfect. Okay, good. So it's 1 o'clock. I guess I'll get started, and if people join us, that's fine. There's 11 people on the webinar today. We may get a few more join, which is great, but I guess I'll start. Okay. Okay, well, there I am again. So my name is Todd, as I said, and I'm the program manager of the digital marketing program. Carrie, who's your instructor for the first course, will not be on the call today. And my role as the program manager is to really make sure that you're successful in this program. So I look after everything from hiring instructors to worrying about the content to obviously customer service and retention and all those good things, budgets and marketing. So that's sort of my job. I kind of often say it's like running a small business. So everything that happens within this program really falls to me. So I'll do the orientation today, and obviously you'll meet Carrie soon enough. So quick little agenda for today. So really I'll talk a bit about success in a blended course, how to be successful, what that really means, some components of it. I'll talk for a second about certificates and graduation. I'll then go into Moodle. I know some of you have already been in Moodle because I saw you posted your introductory post or announcement or whatever. And then we'll do a Q&A at the end. But as I often say, really the goal of this sort of session is to help prepare you for the program to be successful and just give you a little tour of Moodle so that when you get in there to start figuring out where things are, if you're not familiar with an online course, you'll have a better sense of how to start the class. Two little quick housekeeping things. If you have a question, post it to the chat or the question box. A few people have already done that, which is great. I'll probably get to your questions at the end, but I'll be peeking. I have a couple of screens open here, so if you see me peeking, I'm not checking my email, I promise. I'm just looking to see if any questions pop up. But if you have questions, certainly just send it my way, and I'll do my best to either answer it in the moment if I see it. If not, I'll do them all at the end. And I am recording this, and I'll post it to the course. So if you need to jump off or whatever, you can sort of watch it back later. So I just want to do a quick little poll of two quick things just to get a sense of people's interest and background. So let me go to my polls. So the first poll, I was just wondering if people can just tell me if they've ever taken an online course before. So it's just yes or no. All right, another second. I think everybody voted. Perfect. So you can see that from the response, we're about 50-50. So a few more of the yes than no, but otherwise, which is fine. I'll share more about what the online experience is like. Obviously, if you've taken a course before, you probably won't see anything that's too new. And I'll just say also there's 17 people on the call now, which is great. That's more than half the class, so that's fantastic. All right, next question. Just wondering how many years experience people have in digital marketing. This is more of just a curious question. I read some of the introductory posts. I got a sense of where people are at, but just maybe share your background a bit. Give people another second or so to vote. All right, I think most everyone. Okay, so in this case, most people have either no experience, which is totally fine, or they've got 1 to 3 years experience, which is also fine, and some people have quite a bit of experience, which is great. So that's really nice to know just in terms of how the program dynamics work. So we'll talk about this in a little bit, but it's nice the fact we've got a range of people who have no experience, people have a little more experience, because obviously in this course you'll be sharing information about your own experiences. Obviously marketing is everywhere. It's 24/7 on your phones. So I'm sure everybody has the experience of being on this side of it, on the consumer side, but obviously from this program you'll learn about the other side as well and why some people do those sort of strategic decisions of how you see information and whatever. So anyway, just good for me to know. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to my slides. Okay, so I just want to talk about the courses for a second and then mention about the Ripen project. So as you know, there are 3 courses. Each one is 8 weeks long. The first one being Fundamentals of Digital Marketing, and then Marketing to Search Engines and Social Media, and User Engagement and Marketing Automation. You may recall if you've seen my webinars for this program, I'm not a content expert. I don't teach any of the courses, so I will have a tough time answering any of your questions if they're very specific to the content. But I can certainly get the instructors to chime in if I need to. I do want to just highlight 2 things about the program, which you might find interesting, and what we have a relationship with a company called Ripen. You can Google them. It's R-I-I-P-E-N. And Ripen is basically an organization that has a network of, let's say, I don't know, 5,000 organizations that they work with. And so what we've done is we've created some projects. So let's call the project a marketing plan, which is what it is for the first one. It's a marketing plan for like digital marketing. And then they send it out to all their different organizations, asking people who wants to participate. And then people will raise their hand. So I think at this point, we've had 3 or 4 organizations raise their hand. They want to participate, which is great. What it means for you is you're going to be working on real projects for real companies. So you'll have a chance to work in a group with other students. You'll learn the needs of the organization. They'll give you data on who they are, what their goals are, maybe what kind of budgets they have. And then through the course, you'll learn how to put together that plan, and you'll work with that organization. You're actually interacting with the organization. You're asking them real questions, all those good things. So just sort of adds, I think, to the program where you're not doing sometimes projects based on Tim Hortons, which I know is part of the first course, which you'll learn about. But there are some more real opportunities for you to interact with real people. So when you're building your portfolio, whatever the case may be, you can sort of show that you've done this for this company and this is sort of the result. But anyway, they're nice projects. I think you'll get a lot out of them. But I just wanted to highlight that's actually components in 2 of the courses. It's not in the first course because it's just sort of trying to give you a basic foundation of digital marketing. So we built them in the 2nd and the 3rd course. Anyway, if you have questions about that, certainly send me a quick note and I'll certainly do my best to answer them. So the other thing I want to talk about is just the cohort model. So as people know, this is a cohort. There are actually 30 students in the class. I've capped it at 30 to kind of make it the first offering, manageable for you and also for the instructor before we scale up a bit. So 30 students, I've capped it. There'll be no more. But every student's in the first course. Same students will be in the 2nd course and in the 3rd course. Now this is important as you work through those Ripen projects that I mentioned, but it also gives you an opportunity to really build some networks, some social networks, some support networks for studying and study groups and that kind of thing. And also if there's an opportunity that people are looking to get into the field of digital marketing. When I read the introductions of the few that I've already posted, a lot of you already have some careers and you're established, so you're just trying to bring in a digital element to your existing job. If you're a realtor, there was a painter, some different folks, but there are some people who are going to try and get into the field of digital marketing. This is going to be their sort of avenue. So from all that, you'll be working together and building networks. So certainly as you go through this, if you're looking to apply for a job, maybe some people know of jobs and they can sort of refer you. So it's a really nice way for you to not just sort of have each other for support from an academic perspective, but also from a social perspective. And that'll even be more important when you do the face-to-face piece of it as well, when you actually all come together in that weekend. So you get to kind of know each other and like I said, build relationships. So the program will have some group work. Obviously, the face-to-face will be a lot of group work, but I put the group work here because I think it's important, because I know some people are always like, oh, group work. That guy doesn't help. I'm always end up doing all the work for everybody else. But really, it's important to know that and some of you may know this and been working in the field or working in general, that there's been a big push and a big trend towards the soft skills. So obviously in this program, you're going to be learning a lot about digital marketing and all the components of digital marketing. But a lot of times it's the soft skills that are most important that people will learn And even when they're going for a job, sometimes they won't even ask you much about your hard skills in digital, but how you work in teams and critical thinking and problem solving and those kinds of things. So as you go through this course and as you're doing the group work, just keep in mind that these things are important for the learning and to delve deeper into the content, but it's also really important that people build these skills because this is what's reality of. This is what happens when you're working in an organization. You're inevitably working with the marketing director, other people within the marketing team. You're working with your clients, other stakeholders. So it's a lot of group work, which, again, we feel is really important, not just to make you do group work, but also it's a skill that we think you need to practice. And this is a safe place to practice those things because, yes, you're being graded, but I assume most people are not doing it for the grade per se, just more so from the learning. So use that as a way to really think about how you can, actively participate in those groups because there's more to it than just, something that we put together for the sake of doing it. And the same is true for the group discussion. So there are some group discussions, especially in the first class, which I'll show you, which are required. There are some that are not required. They're just sort of part of the conversation to build dialogue and to delve deeper into the topic. So I'll show you those in a bit, but again, really important that you actively participate. And the concept here is you want to add to the conversation. So if the question is what color is the sky and 6 people say blue, well, that's not really adding to the conversation. So really read what people are saying, ask a probing question. Don't just say ditto, but really think about how you can move the conversation forward, just like as you would in an in-class environment. Okay. And the other thing I want to talk about is academic integrity. So this is really important because the certificate that you're issued at the end of this program is based on academic integrity and the fact that people are submitting their own work. So people are not doing, they're cheating on exams, they're not submitting their own work, they're not using original work, they're all those things. When you go out into the public and you sort of say, well, I'm an expert in digital marketing, they're like, you don't really know anything in digital marketing. That obviously has a big impact on our program and the integrity of the certificates that you own. So I really just want to make sure people are aware that we take it seriously. If you have questions about academic integrity, ask the instructor, check the course outline, Google it on York's website, but you have to submit your own work. That's most important. You have to cite sources, you have to give people credit, you can't falsify data, and you have to respect the knowledge, your knowledge and other people's knowledge. So just keep that in mind as you go through the program, that we do take these things very seriously. Nicole is just asking a question. I'll just sort of jump in and answer it. But she's asking if this is the first cohort in the certificate, and the answer is yes. So we've just launched this program. We're very excited about it. Carrie has done an amazing job of putting together the first course. The bar has been set, I think, very, very high for Lillian and Ian, who teach in the other courses. But yes, it is the first offering of this program. So I just want to talk a bit about the online and the classroom components, which in this case make up the blended course. So as you know, there are 7 weeks of online, and I'll talk about the online in a second, and 1 weekend of face-to-face. You must attend the face-to-face component. It's a requirement because so much content's being discussed. It's 14 hours of the course, and if you can't make it, then there's too much content that you've missed, and you won't have a chance to make up that section. So you have to be there at the face-to-face component. The online component, and I'll show you this when we get into Moodle, but there's lots of articles and videos. Carrie's put together some fantastic sort of PowerPoint decks. She has given you activities to think about, some practice opportunities, and lots of great material that you'll work through during the course. You probably should expect about 8 to 10 hours of effort for the online components, and obviously the face-to-face components, they're 9 to 5 full days. The course is about 99% asynchronous. And what I mean by that is it's not something you have to do live. So Carrie has built in, Carrie's the instructor for the first course. She has built in some live components just to sort of share information, to do a bit of a lecture with you. The first one actually is going to be on Thursday, sorry, I'm looking down, January 24th at 7 p.m. It's not required that you attend. So if you've got other commitments, the program is not designed for you to be online at that time. We'll record it. If you can make it, obviously, that's obviously best. but we understand that not everybody can make those sessions because that's not what we sold in terms of the dates of those live sessions. So the face-to-face is required, the Saturday, Sunday, which is February 2nd and 3rd, I believe. But the live sessions that Carrie's going to set up to sort of share some information, create a little dialogue, those are not required. This course will have graded assignments and projects, and you will get like a grade report at the end, so obviously keep that in mind as you go throughout the course. And last thing I'll just sort of mention is our instructors are practitioners, so they have full-time jobs. These are like senior level folks who work in digital marketing that are here to sort of give back, share with you their knowledge, all the things that they wish they would have known when they started, to make you a better digital marketer. So keep that in mind. The last thing I'll say before we go into the actual Moodle tour is everybody that finishes the program will be invited to our graduation ceremony, and they'll obviously get a certificate with the fact that they completed our program. Okay. So before I jump to the Moodle tour, does anybody have any other questions? And I'll answer Christine's question in a second. But if you have any questions now about any of the stuff I just talked about, feel free to post a note. So Christine was just asking, what are the hours of the face-to-face days? So they're from 9 to 5 on that Saturday and that Sunday. So full days, like I said, about 14 hours of content, and they're required. Hopefully that answers your question, Christine. If you have questions about that, let me know. Okay, let me just, before we get there, let me just switch gears and go here. Okay, so everybody should be able to see my, my screen. It's the basic website for continuing studies. And at the top right here, you'll see login. So everyone should log in. You don't have to do this now, don't sweat it. You can certainly follow along, but don't worry if you're not, you can just sort of look at my screen. So everyone's going to go to the student portal. You're going to put in your information and log in. I'll do it this way just because I have different access. So there you can kind of click on the online learning Moodle platform. So this is now, you're inside Moodle. I've got lots of courses that I'm attached to, so I'll just go to, I click on courses. Sorry, my computer's a little slow. Click on digital marketing. You probably only have one, but I've got lots that I'm connected to. Click on winter 2019. And then you'll see the 3 courses here, but only the one that's in red is live. So you click on that fundamentals course. You are now inside of Moodle, inside the course shell. So I'm just going to change my status here to be a student, just so that you see the same screen that you will when you go in later. Okay, just going to answer, well, and I'll get back to your question in a second. Okay, so here's the course, and here are the sort of sections of the course. So obviously you click on course outline. And there's a picture of Carrie. She's the instructor with a little bit of a description of her background. There's her email if you want to connect with her. Obviously just, general outline stuff. There's the course description. There's the outcomes. This course does not actually have a textbook, which probably doesn't surprise you just because digital marketing is so new and it's always changing. So there is no textbook that really covers off all the information that Carrie wants to include. So there's lots of articles and things. We've actually got a chapter from a textbook. You're allowed to use one chapter or about 10% of a textbook free of charge. So we can provide that to you at no cost, which is great. She's also created this digital marketing toolkit, which if you click on it, Carrie created this. Sorry, my computer's a bit slow. Okay, well, I'm not sure why that's, oh, there it is, okay. So this is the toolkit Carrie created. It just sort of has descriptions of some of the terms and things that you should be familiar with, especially if you're new to digital marketing. You may find these sort of helpful just to kind of familiarize yourself with, just some of the things in the field that you may be hearing about but don't really know exactly what it means. Okay. So here's a marketing breakdown of this course. There'll be the online forums, which are the discussion boards, and there are 4 that are graded. And it's called Digital Marketing in the News, and I'll show you those in a second. There's the marketing rubrics if you want to see that. Those are when those sections are done, and this is done in a group, which I'll talk about in a second. But those are not individual; those are group discussions. There are a couple of quizzes. There's one in week 3. And then there's a consumer journey and segmentation assignment, which is done on your own. And then there's a final project, which is a group project. Okay. You can go to the assessment section, which I'll take you to, which has all the details. And then here's a schedule of the courses. So somebody was asking about the class time and the dates and stuff. There's the location of the room, so we can give you more information on that, but that's where it is on campus. It just goes week by week, showing you the schedule of things you need to know about. There's obviously our rules and regulations. There's how we grade the system. So again, you can go through that at your own leisure to sort of read the details. The next section is the course material. So I'll just click on the first week, which is one of the online components. And this is where Carrie's starting to share a bit about the content and her voice. So this week you're talking about an influencer. She's got a video, which is about how to start a movement, which I've watched. It's actually quite interesting, about 3 minutes long. There are some questions that she has you to start thinking about, again, just to get you to sort of have an internal dialogue with yourself, just to kind of get you to start thinking about the topic and how influencers work and whatever. So she's got some questions to think about. Now, so here's a good example of a discussion board that's not required. So I'll show you this when we go to the discussion boards, but this one, since it's part of the getting started section, is just to have a dialogue. So the more you sort of participate in these things, the more you'll get out of the course, but you're not being graded on it. So don't worry about that. So there's an overview of what's being learned this week, sort of why it matters, which sort of connects to real life. Here's the live video session, which Carrie has sort of mentioned here, is Thursday the 24th at 7 p.m. And it's not every week, Anna. So they're not once a week. I think there's like 2 or 3 different times throughout the course that Carrie has these live video sessions, but definitely not a weekly thing. She just did it as a way she thought would add some value to you as a student. Again, not required to participate. Maybe I'll update this to sort of make sure people are aware that it's not required, and we will record it. So if you can't be there, you can always watch it back later. So don't worry about that. There are learning outcomes of the course. Here's the sort of what you need to read this week. So here's an article. Well, here's Carrie's slide deck if you haven't seen it. Let's see how fast this pops up. About halfway there. My computer's being a little slow, sorry. So Carrie's created some slides for you to sort of work through, just about what's happening, some schedule stuff, what you sort of need to worry about in terms of the discussion boards. There's a video to watch and things like that, something about marketing. And then what she also has, which I'll just sort of scan down, is where'd it go? Oh yeah, and then she has in these, now you try it. So she sort of does a little bit of the teaching. She has some videos for you to watch, and then she asks you to go and sort of try these things to kind of see for yourself what those might look like or what they might entail. So anyway, she's done a nice job on those. There's a video, another article on what is digital marketing. There's some other articles. There's a Fiesta movement overview, which is a little case study she's put together, and there's lots of TED Talk videos. There's a podcast, which you might find very interesting. And then here's that case study that she says optional around the Fiesta Ford movement. So there's lots of commercials, so you can kind of see it if you're not familiar with it. So there's lots of those. And then she has these practice exercises, which are not graded. So again, non-graded, just for you to kind of figure out what you've learned and do you understand what's been learned. So it goes back to the Fiesta movement campaign. Here's some questions. So you can sort of think about those things. And then there's the discussion boards, which again, I've seen people already post about themselves. And then she has a summary. So that's pretty similar to how every week will sort of be designed. Some cases she may do a podcast just to sort of share information and not have a live session, like I said. It's not every week the live ones. So anyway, but that's sort of a general sense of how the content's being provided to you. From a discussion perspective, there's a couple of things. So there's the course news and announcements. So if you haven't been there, this is where Carrie or myself will post things that you need to know about. So in this case, Carrie has posted a little welcome note. So here's a little welcome note from Carrie with a little more information about herself. It talks about sort of what you should be expecting a little bit. And then she also posted here the groups. If you click on that, the discussion boards, when there are group discussions, you can see who's in your group, okay? And then here are all the discussions. So there's general course questions. If you have things that you don't understand, you want information, you can always send that to the general, maybe the link doesn't work. Just post those things to the general course questions. Carrie will respond to them or forward them to me if I need to worry about it. Here's the introductory discussion board. So I'll get to that in a second. But here's the competitive analysis group project. And this module 1 influencer, this is the video I mentioned before that is not graded. So this is in the getting started section. This is just a little video that she has prepared. There's a couple of questions for you to think about. And she's just hoping that a dialogue will start about this. And again, these are not essays. They're not writing samples. They're just conversations. So for you to share your experiences, maybe there's something you've done that sort of can relate to the topic, or you want to ask a question. But this is where that would all happen. And again, all the modules are non-graded. So there's about 7 or 8 of them. And then at the bottom here, the digital marketing in the news, these are the graded, see here it says graded. These are the graded discussion forums, and you'll be in groups for these. Going back to her post earlier, and she listed the different groups. You can sort of see that there are 4 of these which make up the graded component for your participation, okay? So I'm just gonna click on these introductory discussions for a second. So it looks like 6 people have already posted, which is great. So I think I'll click on this one, which I thought was the first one that was posted. So I'll probably say this wrong, sorry, but Karenza has posted a little note. She's also posted a little photo, which is awesome, and she posted a fun little video of her. It looks like it's at New Year's. And then a couple of people have responded. So we asked that everybody post something, you know, just again, it's about building a community, building some relationships. You're gonna get to know these people very, very well. So share a bit about yourself, who you are, and then we just ask that people sort of, you know, respond to a couple of posts just to sort of, again, make some connections and really think about it as a digital marketer. This is what you're doing if you're managing the social media channels of your organization. You're right, you're interacting with your stakeholders. If somebody posts something that's great about your product or whatever, you're gonna respond and say, hey, thanks for taking the time to write. So happy you're enjoying the product. If there's something negative to say, you're obviously still gonna respond because that's part of best practice in digital marketing. And to say, sorry you weren't so happy, hope we can do better. This is how we're gonna rectify the situation, whatever the case may be. And try and diffuse the situation if it's really quite hostile. But anyway, so there's lots of, you know, the discussion posts are being done, which is great. So I encourage everybody to obviously post something and then share more on connecting with other people. All right. I'll say on the discussions, you can certainly also post the video. If you don't want to post the text, you can certainly create a little video on your phone and then post that as well if that's what you prefer. Shows your personality off a bit better, which is great. I also asked a fun question, or we asked a fun question, if you weren't doing digital marketing, would you be a rock star, sports star, movie star, chef, couch potato, whatever? Again, just to sort of try and build some relationships and get to know people a bit better. Nobody asked me, but I would definitely be a rock star if you were asking me. Okay. Sorry about that. And the last section I want to show you is just the assessment. So this is where you'll find more information about the actual assignment. There's the marking rubrics for the different assignments. There's the quizzes. There's some practice quizzes which are not graded, but they just give you a chance to see if you actually understand the material. So there's that. So there's the group projects, the personas, some more details. This is where you would submit the project. So all this stuff is in here. If you have questions, you can certainly ask Carrie. But there's lots of information here about all the rubrics, how to submit things. But all that stuff is done within the system. The last thing I'll just show you is the contact us. So if you have questions around transfer withdrawals, the schedule, the room assignments, whatever the case may be, certainly send a note to the program coordinator, and that's the information there. For this course, it actually does transition. We just hired some new folks. Her name is Carrie, so she'll be the new program coordinator for this program. Some people may have actually interacted with Lee, but Lee is moving on some other projects. If you have questions around IT support, then certainly you want to contact our IT folks. There's Carrie's email again if you have questions on exams in this class or anything. We have a registration coordinator if you worry about tax receipts or academic records, letters of things. And then really, you can contact me if you've got questions from a very high level around feedback about the course, the instructor. We do usually try and have 2 evaluations in the course. And if you've got things you want to talk to me about outside of that, then certainly send me a note. And if you have special accommodations, that kind of stuff, that stuff all comes to me. So that's a lot of information, I know. I'll leave this slide up, but I'm very happy to answer all of your questions. There's a couple there that I'll look at. So I will look at them, but if you have more, keep posting. Let's see. Okay, so Irina. Oh yeah, actually, you probably didn't know this, I don't think anybody logged in, but actually I made the course live on Friday. So if you would have logged in over the weekend, you would have seen the course was there. But yeah, the course is now live, so you can certainly go in and peruse around and make sure you, again, post it to the introduction discussion board. Gurpreet's asking if there's free parking on campus. Great question. The answer to that is unfortunately not. So there are some paid parking lots. There's a garage if you want to sort of be not underground, but in a garage. There's some sort of metered spots. The only thing about the metered spots is, and maybe I should learn this, but I don't know if it's free on Saturday, and I don't know if it's more than, I think it's just 3 hours. So if it's free on Saturday, you find a metered spot, then obviously bonus for you. If not, though, you'll have to certainly pay. And on that weekend, I think maybe it's like $5 on the weekend. So it's not too bad. During the week, it's about 20 bucks. But I think on the weekends, it's about $5. I'll actually post I'll post a map to the news and announcements section. And I'll just sort of circle some of the parking garages which are near the building. And the room itself is almost smack dab in the middle of campus. So really accessible by the subway if that's how you're coming. It's only about, like I said, I don't know, less than a block from the subway, and there's a couple of lots which are not far as well. So I'll post that to the news and announcements to help you out. You're welcome, Irina. Glad to help. Oh, sheesh. Almost just killed myself there. So I'm happy to stand as long as people need to answer your questions. I don't know if there's any more questions coming in, but very excited that this program is launching. Like I said, I think Carrie's done a wonderful job with the content. I really hope you guys feel the same. I hope you guys learn a lot in the 3 courses. Oh, the other thing I'll sort of mention is at the face-to-face, we've also going to have Lillian and Ian, who are teaching the other 2 courses. They're going to come on that first, I think, Saturday is in the agenda. They're going to come on the Saturday to say hi to you and to introduce themselves. So again, the fact that this is a whole program, and yes, it's a course at a time, but we really thought about how the courses are connected and making sure there's no gaps and overlaps in the curriculum. I thought it was important that you actually get to meet them, ask them some questions about what's coming up in the next course, so you can kind of think ahead and plan ahead accordingly. Can I share more about what other companies will be participating in this program? Gurpreet, I'm not really sure I understand the question. Sorry. What do you mean by other companies? Do you mean for that Ripen project? Or what do you mean by other companies? If you can maybe, oh, the Ripen project? You said yes, sir. So yeah, so I don't have in front of me the names of the companies that have raised their hand through Ripen to participate, and the instructor still has to kind of connect with them to make sure it's the right fit. Like I said, I think there are about 3 or 4 that raised their hand that they wanted to join us. I think we're hoping to have around 5 or so, or maybe 6 would be great, because we'll probably have groups of about 5 or 6 people. 5 groups or around 5 or 6 people. That's the hope, at least. So I can't really give you a specific answer, but they're interesting companies. Actually, one was, oh gosh, I just forgot. There was one that actually was a branded name company you would know. They're not all like Sally's Flower Shop from around the corner. They're actually, pretty large organizations that are looking to enhance their digital space. So again, sorry I don't have more details. I just can't remember the names of the organizations that raised their hand, and they're not yet on board, so I don't want to sort of share that until they're confirmed. Oh, you're welcome, Gurpreet. But it's a really cool opportunity, and it's sort of again, a nice opportunity for you guys to interact with real people, collect some real feedback from companies in terms of what their goals are. Because if you're trying to have your own business, or you're working for other people on the agency side, that's going to be part of your responsibilities, is trying to understand what the client wants, right? So this is a great chance for you to do that. I don't see any other questions coming in. Again, I'll stay on as long as you want, but I just want to say a couple of things before I sort of sign off. One, thank you for trusting us and being a part of our first cohort. I'm really excited. I hope it's a great experience for you. We appreciate you choosing York. I know people have busy lives and schedules, so thanks for being a part of our program. And I really wish everybody the best. And I don't know if I'll make it to those 2 face-to-face sessions to sort of say hi in person, but if I can, I certainly will. But I really just wish everybody the best of luck. And if you have any questions along the way, please reach out and let us know. So I'll sign off then. You're welcome, Vimbeya. Oh, you're welcome, Tanya, Irina. You're welcome. Thanks, Lee. All right, guys. Have a great day. Enjoy this cold weather. Hopefully you're not too cold. And again, best of luck. Any questions, please let us know. Thanks.